Yep, yep, da-dee-be-da. Oh my goodness. Good evening. Well, it is in Portugal anyway, and a nice hot one too. Welcome to Get Out and Grow with the Happy Homesteaders here. With Anna and, Anna and John in the southwest of the UK. Is it warm there, guys? Anna, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Yeah, currently isolating at home at the moment, so no, yeah, everything's a little bit different at the moment. Sort of minus work, keyboard lesson online again, and yeah, currently about 20 degrees here. Garden's looking a bit mad, but I did try to get on top of a few brambles at the weekend because they're growing like I don't know what. So yeah,
it's happening close. Lee, I'm sure, will remind us the best way to deal with brambles. Burn them with fire or something like that in a little while. But John, how are you?
Yes. Yes, I'm pretty good, actually. Better than last week because of COVID-related reasons. Yeah, quite stressful last week and just a bit the week before. It's, yeah. So obviously quite looking forward to the show tonight, this evening, because it's not quite yet the night, actually it's more the evening, isn't it? But yeah, be looking forward to the show. Obviously, hopefully going to be able to answer all the questions and,
we got so many. Yeah,
share some great gardening images as well.
Absolutely. Before we move on, may I just acknowledge you, because we were chatting before the show. I think you took care of business at home. And you were quite the domestic god, I think, whilst you were taking care of business in COVID quarantine and housekeeping.
Yeah, well, because my mum had it a bit badly, but like, so I had to sort of do all the cooking and everything. Fortunately, I managed to not burn the house down or poison us.
Well done, evidently, well done.
Which is probably a good thing. But yeah. Yeah, it was stressful. It was very, very stressful. So it's sort of like, yeah, I'm not quite over it, to be honest. I feel a bit sort of, yeah.
Yes, okay, I get it. We totally get that. That sigh tells us everything we need to know, I think. Pete, congratulating you for looking after everyone, John.
Oh,
so
cheers.
Yeah, probably gets you being a bit more grateful about mum generally as well, doesn't it? My God. She does this all the time, and there's me taking care of business for a week. Well done, John. That's fantastic. Lee, how are you today?
I'm fantastic. I'm great. Yeah, good day today. Good week.
Nice. Okay.
I want to spend time with John. I want John to come stay with me in Portugal for a bit. I think he's hilarious.
And cook for you.
No, I'll do the cooking. I just need him to come and do his little one-liner jokes. Yeah, he'll keep it going all week.
That'd be great. Company jester. Superb. And is it warm in the capital, Lee?
I think we hit about 32 today. 32 midday.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Nice and toasty.
More congratulations. Look at this. Good job, John. All sorts of opportunities might be arising for you, John, having mentioned that. Paul, Louise, and Lottie also in tonight. Boa tarde a todos. Beautiful photos from you. Question I know from Paul tonight as well. Paul Williams, boa tarde a todos. People showing off their Portuguese. Fantastic. And boa tarde from Sharon H. Great to have you here. Phil Ruff is in. We saw you before there and giving your congratulations to John. Fantastic. Boa tarde, growers. Nice one. And from the 3 Ps in a pod, Fiona and Simon, hello and good evening, Happy Homesteaders from Nottinghamshire in the UK. Which bit? Nottingham's famous for lace, isn't it? Which bit of Nottinghamshire are you in, guys? And what is it famous for, if you will? Just found out this is, let's show your pictures before we get cracking with the questions, because you've been so good to us over these months, Louise. Just found out that there's a Mediterranean Gardening Association, Portugal. This trips off the tongue, doesn't it, very nicely? The APE JECM ABCDEFGHIJK LMNOP. That is the Mediterranean Gardening Association of Portugal. Not had a chance to look into it yet. Is Lee familiar with them? First question as well, I guess.
They have just started a course in Stubble University, or Stubble College, whatever it's called here.
Nice.
So yeah, they've just started a horticultural course there. It's the first one in this area. I think it's the same. I think it's the same organisation.
Good to know. All right, I imagine we'll get to know more about them as the weeks pass. If you're learning more about them, Lee, and as is Louise, and maybe we can get a representative on the show at some point.
I've just started following the link for the college course online.
Okay.
Watching what sort of work they're doing and how they're prepping for it. So I'm taking a little bit of an interest in it.
Fantastic. Okay, so stay with Louise for just a moment there. Boa tarde, tudo bem? Sim, tudo bem contigo? And the pickies for tonight's show. An Iberian grass snake. That isn't the grass snake. This is, though. Look at this beauty here. Ooh, just heading down. Oh, is it going to fit down that grate? Did it manage to get down there? It was stuck. Oh, my word. What are you doing? There's a great big fat mouse in its belly, which is stopping it going down the French drain. Iberian grass snake, French drain. It's such a cosmopolitan mix of international things or European things going on there. The third pull of our onions. Don't get the onions and the snake confused. Pull the onions. Don't pull the snake. Look at those beauties. Look at them onions. Fantastic crop there. And a dahlia or dahlia. Some people say dahlia. Probably the sort of people who say darling say dahlia.
It's definitely dahlia.
It's definitely dahlia. You heard it from Lee there. That is case closed. Dahlia. All right. Thank you, Louise. They're absolutely fantastic. But we want to know what happened next, don't we, with the snake that got cut? Got stuck. Sorry, what am I thinking? Actually, what I was thinking was, you can't cut it in half like a worm, can you? What did you do? Did you have to let it digest the mouse and then, or get it to reverse? Or what happened, Louise? We need to know. We need to know with that. So over to you, Anna, for the first question, please.
So yes, I thought I'd probably start with the longest question in a lot so far. I think one from Katie. Does the panel have any clues, suggestions for this? And I think this one actually possibly came with a question, a picture. I'm not sure, but just to confirm, it was thought it was a Nespera at first, but it's actually a persimmon, I think. I'll double check on that. It was planted last year, getting 2 buckets of water a week in this hot weather, but generally just one, about 3 meters from a very small stream that does not dry up. Afternoon sun on northwest terrace, no other surrounding trees close by. The issue is all the tips are blackened. I think there was a picture for this one.
I've got
leaves look droopy. Is that usual? And there's no real new growth. It also says holes large, filled with a mix of. It says native. I'm not quite sure what that means. It says native compost mulched with straw and leaves to overwinter. And if you're wondering what the black mark was, apparently it's from the bird. So that not linked to the plant problem, and apparently the plant region is 10B if you need that extra info.
Oh my goodness, that's very thorough, isn't it? Okay, so here's the long shot of the situation. Thank you very much.
Can you make it full screen? Is that as big as you can get it, Cal? I can make it full screen for me.
There is the tree in the foreground, and then we'll zoom into the foliage for you there, which doesn't look terrible in that picture, but it is, I guess, when you are able to zoom in even more. And are we looking Nespera, persimmon? What are we looking at there, do you think?
I don't think it's a Nespera. It must be a persimmon.
Right. Okay.
It's the leaves are very pale.
Okay.
It's too pale to be a Nespera. I can show you on mine. Mine are really dark leaves. It's a really dark, like a heavy leaf, where these look much lighter than. It could be several things. I don't think the water's an issue. But what you could always do is mulch around the base of the tree so it retains the moisture longer, and water it either very early in the morning or very late in the evening. So you're getting the most for your 2 buckets of water instead of watering sort of midday-ish. I personally would put some horse manure around it. It's very rich this time of year, and normally you shouldn't do it per se on smaller trees. But if you feel like it's really struggling, the leaves are really droopy, give it a strong horse manure feed. Don't put it directly against the bark. Leave a nice 3 or 4 inch gap between the bark of the whip, which this is, and surround the area so it dilutes a little bit. It's not too strong on the main root system.
Full on horse manure,
It's its first year. It's its first hot summer out in the sun. It's going to struggle a little bit, and it is in what looks like a very sunny area.
It's tiny, isn't
an
it?
open area. An open area. Oh, it's a baby, yeah.
Yeah, it's
still
poking out
a
over the chicken wire. Yeah, so some good protection on that. So good job, Katie, on that. And a beautiful. The long shot is fantastic. Castelo Branco there, isn't that beautiful? Portuguese interior, beautiful shot.
I would also try to give it some more support. Maybe put a bigger tree stake in. If you're doing small trees, don't be scared of putting a big tree stake in next to it. Canes are just no good. Small canes aren't any good. The wind blows them. They hit against that mesh. I know you protect it from the deer and the pigs, or the chickens. But don't be scared of putting a big stake in at the start with a small tree.
Yeah.
We have an apple tree in the lawn here, which was probably about the same size as that when it went in. And that went in with a full-size stake. And now it's becoming a matching tree and stake. So, and it saves me. If you put in canes now, you'll feel in a year's time you might need a bigger stake, and then you're ramming stakes through what is still a juvenile root system. So always overmatch your stake. Don't rely on canes, even if they look thick and strong, because they just don't last. So going back to it, a strong manure feed and keep up with the watering, but make your watering more morning and evening, so you're getting more for your bucket. Yeah.
There you go, Katie. Excellent stuff.
I don't think it, and then just cross your fingers and hope for the best.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, that's always the last bit to do, isn't it? Okay. I'll go to the comments, and John, you've got something you would probably prefer to voice yourself there.
Yes, of course. So if you did, we do have a lot of questions this week, but if you did forget to let Anna know about your question, or have only just thought of one, you can let us know in the comments either here on Facebook or on YouTube as well. YouTube or Facebook comments, you can do that.
Okay, thank you very much, John, for that. On a slightly related topic. Actually, no, not related at all, is it? And due to Carl's weekend, I was wondering how to remove vomit or excrement from a pool. Not happened yet, but best.
Yes.
Well, this is a gardening program. It's not a cookery program. It's not a swimming pool tip program. And I hasten to add, it wasn't me that had the accident in the pool. But we could maybe do a swimming pool special another time, Pete, and let's just keep them guessing on that one. Although 3 peas in a pod, maybe a pool vacuum. Yes, I think so. You do want to deal with it in some way. Don't go all organic on that. Langley Mill. I've been through there on a train. I think Langley Mill, once famous for its pottery and its canal system. I suppose it could loosely called the Midlands, right, or the East Midlands. Is that right? 3 peas in a pod there. Thank you very much for that. The grass snake. Update on the grass snake. This is good. Came out of the grate eventually and went into our gisto wall of the house. Now, they love it in the gisto wall, don't they? Along with all the lizards and other reptiles in there, just waiting for the snake to dislodge a stone or two to find out where it's hiding. I guess they are strong enough, aren't they, with their reticular action to actually cause a little bit of damage if necessary. So that's interesting. If more pictures, please, Louise, on that. We're looking to build some healthy soil. We'll come back to that, Phil, because we've got some questions that have come in ahead of time. One of them, I think, from Paul Williams. Back to you then, Anna, on that one. Paul's question.
There we go. Yes. Paul was wondering if Lee could tell me how he deals with having a mole in the garden.
Gun, smoking, explosives, those traps that don't work. What is it, Lee?
My favourite subject.
Come on.
Right, so there's three real ways to deal with them. You can smoke them out. I carry smoke bombs in the van all the time now because I'm getting so used to having to deal with them.
Wow.
So the smoke bombs you buy in packs of 3, they're less than a tenner for a pack. Always try and choose a damp day when you're smoking, or let the sprinklers on first for a good 20 minutes to soak the ground through. So if you do it on a dry day, the smoke breaks out from the tunnel and doesn't stay in long enough. Now, the smoke isn't to kill the mold, it's to make the area unlivable. So you clear away the freshest molehill, find the tunnel, poke your finger in, make sure it's all clear, light your smoke bomb, put it into the hole and then cover it back up again quickly. And the smoke permeates through the tunnel system. And it just makes it unlivable. It makes it unlivable for the mold. Which is what is the routine I'm using now. The other way is to use a trap.
Quite humane then. Quite humane, more so than the traps possibly.
Oh yeah. It doesn't actually kill. There's not enough smoke in the smoke bombs. They last about 3 or 4 minutes. But there's not enough smoke in the smoke bombs to actually kill the mold. It just makes it an unlivable environment in the tunnel, and then hopefully you kind of clear them off.
Amazing.
The other way to do it is with a scissor trap. They work really well, but you've got to check a minimum of every 24 hours or every 12 hours it might be now, which for a lot of people is kind of undoable because you could be out there for a week and having to go back and check it every day, especially for a professional, or if you're not living on site. It's an issue.
So the scissor trap is a system where it goes in and can't get out again, and you release it somewhere. Do you? Is that what a scissor trap is, or is that lethal? It's lethal.
No, it's a lethal one. It's like an X frame. Yeah. And in the middle of the lower part of the X is a trigger system. Yeah. It's like a little metal plate. So as a mole touches that, and it only needs a slight touch, the X crosses. Yeah. And the 4 bars at the bottom snap the mole. They work really well, but you've got to check them regular.
And so the checking is to put the creature out of its misery if the trap hasn't done the job.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Right. Okay.
You want to be humane. You want to be nice about it. So you really should make the effort.
Smoke bombs.
I've also got some garlic tablets. It's like imagine a big ant powder box, but it's little tiny tablets like you put in your wood burner, but tiny ones, and they smell very strongly of a garlic and acidy mix. And you meant to put them down the hole and scatter them across the lawn. That comes in at about €13 a box at Levi Merlin. They'll be a lot cheaper in England.
Why is
and
that?
They work to pardon?
Why are they? Because normally things are cheaper in a garden centre in Portugal, aren't they?
Stuff like that in England just seems to be cheaper. Rat poison, mouse poison, rat traps, more stuff. Yes. It all seems to be cheaper in England. But I've not been there for 8 years, so I don't really know. I'm just guesstimating.
All right. Okay.
And it kind of works, but it wears off really quickly.
Yes.
So unless you're getting it into every hole and really forcing it down the hole, I'd go with a smoke bombing. It seems to be the best way to do it.
All right, yeah, that sounds about right as well. The aromatherapy sounds a bit ineffective. The lethal way sounds a bit nasty. And the smoking in the middle, the saging sounds good.
There is one other technique that I've seen many times used, and it's brilliant. You spend your night sat in the garden with a torch because they're kind of a nocturnal creature. Yes. Although they do live a full bore life. They're wild little animals. They do. They fight to the death. And if you ever come across, You ever come across them having sex? It's like a rape scene. It's horrendous.
Oh my god,
They are
okay. Wasn't
shocking.
expecting that tonight, right.
But they normally make the holes, the mounds. They normally make them at night time.
Yeah.
So if you sit out at night with a torch, and you can watch them digging the hole,
yeah,
and then when they come to the top of the hole, you run over your spade and knock it on the
really?
napper.
Like a fairground.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it done a few times. It's quite good. It's quite good fun to watch.
It sounds gruesome out there with moles fighting and having sex and being smacked on the head with a spade. I mean, I think I'm going to go with Paul. Which would you prefer, Paul? You asked the question. Let us know.
I was walking the Pennine Way several years ago in my younger days, and one night I heard a noise just at the side of the camp, and it was horrendous. And I got up. It made me get up out of bed and go and have a look. And it was mole rain. It was 2 moles in a field, and they were, the noise from the little creature was horrendous. Yeah.
My goodness. And there's Lee. Okay, it tells us a lot about the man. Some people would be camping, and when they hear a horrific noise, they would curl up and hope that it would go away. Lee gets up and goes and investigates, and then he's able to bring us information like that. So we're better off for that. Thank you, Lee, very much indeed. Let's go to Phil now. That was very thorough. Hope you got some good value there, Mr. Williams. We are looking to build some healthy soil, looking to add some nitrogen via nitrogen fixers, vetch or clover with some worms and mycelium. Recommendations on vetch or clover seeds for Portugal, please.
Can you just read that again, Cal? Are you a bit quick?
Yeah.
And I can't
What do
really
we
see the
need?
screen.
Nitrogen fixers for building healthy soil. Phil is looking at vetch and clover as a solution and getting some worms and mycelium in there. What are the recommendations from you on vetch or clover seeds? Where to get them? And are there different varieties, or is it just fairly straightforward?
It is fairly straightforward. It depends what you want to do with the ground. If it's for farming, what they normally do is mix the clover seeds in with the feed for the animals. So they're pooping out the clover seeds onto a fresh pile of fertilizer.
Yeah.
So it's not competing with the grass. That works really well.
Okay.
I know it is available. It's definitely available online from Amazon, but I know some of the agricultural stores stock it in. I think it might even be 50-litre bags. I think you can buy really big bags of it.
Yeah.
Because it is well used. But if it's more for the small homesteading garden, I wouldn't really bother with it. I'd not cut and collect, so I'd cut your grass and let it fall, and I'd rotate in or add a lot of green waste. So if you can transplant green waste from one part of your garden to another part, like I do my veg patch, we started off with sand, and to build up that good quality growing medium, I was adding grass cuttings and leaves and small branches to it all the time, just rotating in for a full year. It works brilliantly. But if you're on a homesteading environment, the clover is the best, and it's available at most of the horticultural stores I've been to. But mixed in with the animal feed, even goats and sheep, they do a really good job of dispersing it.
Okay, good, very good.
Yeah.
And with the grass clippings, is it very interesting because Mrs. M's all over that. When I knock on the door this morning, so last time the guy next door was doing the lawn, this is a contract gardener like yourself. Mrs. M said to him, "When you've done with the clippings, can we have them to put into our soil on this side of the wall?" This time he's there without even being asked. So I guess for the gardener who doesn't want to take that home with him or have to dump it, he's doing you a good turn if you can get into that sort of routine.
Well, I have the issue of doing on a couple of days. I do sort of 15, 20 gardens over a 2-day period, and getting rid of my waste is the biggest issue. You know, it's always a challenge. But adding it to soil is the best way to do it. Great. When I started off as an apprentice gardener, you were shown certain weeds you had to pull out, and certain weeds that you could hold back into the ground and using it as green compost. So anything with a long tap root, we were expected to pull out. Anything with a small bulb root or bulbular root, or a small like a grass root, we could hold straight back into the ground and just leave it. Once it's exposed, the weather kills the root, and it becomes green manure. It works brilliantly.
Excellent stuff. Thank you, Phil, for asking that question. Okay, back to you, Hannah, and then we'll take something from John.
So I'm just seeing a couple more questions coming in as we go. We have, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure to come across the question or post on the low tech mushroom growing, or did you want me to?
Yeah, who was asking about that? Was that Matty? Was it? Well, let's do a couple of things.
Matty. Yeah,
because Matty was asking about low tech mushroom growing, but also fly traps. We've got Katie, who I think also sent in something about fly traps. These things that hang in the trees I think they're known as red tops. And Brian sent in something sent in this lovely picture with a link for us. So, Matty, I can forward that on to you from the very thoughtful Brian Taylor, because this was something that came up. Getting rid of flies and mosquitoes was something we were talking about on the morning show.
I've come across a new one this week, or last week, actually.
Yeah.
One of my customers has now got a solar charged electronic fly trap.
Oh.
So it's a small plastic container with a solar panel on the top and an open area around underneath the lid for the flies to enter, and a normal fly shocker system in the bottom of it.
Right.
But it lets out a small a small noise that attracts the flies.
Yes.
But it's restricted to a sort of 10 or 20 meter. I can't remember what he said. 10 or 20 meter radius.
Yeah.
So you're only killing the flies that are in your property already. You're not putting out a smelling device that's going to attract flies into the property. That's a good plan. It was available. He bought his on Amazon. I should have got the better details for it. Really think about it. But I'm gonna invest in a couple because they weren't expensive. I think they were 20. I think he said they were €22 each.
Shouldn't be too hard to find. Solar powered fly attractor killer.
Right, yeah, and they come with a 3-year guarantee. So I thought it might be worth a crack.
Can you imagine what it's like working in that factory when someone sends one back after 2 years with all the dead flies in it? Anyway, this one, Brian says the idea is to trap the flies before they come in the house. So you hang it about 5 to 10 meters away, and you put up diversion signs for the flies. I added that, not him. Hang it about 5 to 10 meters away from the house, and after a couple of days, you should have a few victims. Once you've got a few, they create a stronger attraction, and the things just pile up. Horrible to watch and fascinating at the same time. Thank you very much, Brian. That's for you, Matty. And the mushrooms then, low-tech mushroom growing. Have you tried it? I mean, our kit from Lidl was quite good fun. $3.99, got about 6 mushrooms out of it. It was more of an educational process, I think.
I did mention to Matty when I saw him over the weekend that you recently tried, or you tried while you've been here in Portugal.
Yeah.
But my grandfather used to grow them in the airing cupboard in England, and he had great success growing butter mushrooms.
Yes.
But that was from a seeded log. So you would go out and find a part rotten log, and he would seed it with the spores from the previous mushrooms. So as the one lot of mushrooms are growing, he would push it close to it, and it would reseed or regerminate in the next mushroom. But if you look online, there are some amazing box sets at the moment that are available. So they come in like a what's it called, the white little ball things, packaging. Polystyrene. They come in a little polystyrene box, and it contains everything you need to grow mushrooms in a dark, damp place.
Yes.
And it's getting the environment right more than anything else.
And the memory, right? You've got to have the right temperament, haven't you, to leave it and not keep poking it and looking at it. And then you forget about it, and all the mushrooms have grown and died inside there. So you've got timing is everything. I think
you've genuinely got to leave them for the first 6 weeks before you check on them.
Yes.
And then check on them daily after that, because they come up and then they're gone. Yes. And they last only a few days. Yep. So you've got to have your cut-off. You've got to say, it's the 1st of August, I'll check them the 2nd week of September. And then you check them regular from there on.
Okay. Thank you. There you go, I thought you were going to
poor
say
things.
your granddad found some mushrooms in his trousers in the airing cupboard and just carried on growing them. But no, proper job, proper approach there. And now I think did you pronounce this dead at the scene, Lee?
Yeah, it's pretty much goosed. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
We
not
can
coming
do
back.
the Monty Python. This aloe vera plant has expired. Okay, sorry about that, Matty. Our hopes for the recovery of this plant on both shows in the morning and on a Monday evening sadly came to naught there. So that's compost that can be dug back in, can't it? And be part of the circle of life. Let's put it that way. John, anything taking your fancy in the incoming chat or earlier questions there, sir?
Am I muting?
No, you're unmuted
Yes.
now. We can hear you.
There we go. I'm muted myself now. I'm not sure. We seem to be running out of time because it's gone 1:45. So there's another
30
question
minutes
from
left.
Paul
Amazing.
Williams here.
Yeah.
Can you please ask how far apart I should plant lantana if I wish to make a hedge?
Oh, lantana. Is that like
Oh,
Leylandia?
yeah. It's similar, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I tend to like my hedges really thick. So I get quite wasteful and stuff like that. And the sort of the recognised distances are anything from 8 to 12 inches. I always go for the lower and go for the 8 inches. They go really well together. They bond really tightly. So there's no real issue with them. You can squeeze it to the 14, 15 inches. You're going to save money, but you're only prolonging the time you're going to get a good quality edge. And the other advantage is if you plant hedge plants nearer to each other, if one does die, then you're not left with a gaping hole because you've always got the support from the two well-developed ones on either side of it. Eugenia here in Portugal are very similar. I always like to do them around the 8 to 9 inch mark. If the customer's being a bit budget shy, I'll go to 13 inches, but I really like to get them close. Just because you laugh, but if you think a Eugenia plant, a knee high is €4.5, and you want to do an 80-yard stretch, it's a lot of euros going into it. But it's in
budget shy. I thought budget shy was a really nice way of saying tight-fisted or whatever. But budget shy is excellent.
You've really got to, and I say it with everybody, I say it with most things in gardening, you've got to consider what you're going to pay out to what you're going to get at the end of it. Same when it comes to growing your own veg. Don't fork out so much money that you can't get something back from it. Yeah, and it's the same with a hedge. If you're prepared to wait 7 or 8 years for a good quality hedge, buy smaller plants. If you want it immediate, you're going to pay for it. So
gardening is notoriously falls the wrong side of that financial equation, doesn't it? How many people go to the garden centre at the weekend, just think, I'll just do 20 quid on a couple of plants. It's next thing you know, it's like going into IKEA, isn't it? You got into 3 figures very easily. There you go, Lee's guilty as charged.
Every time. Yeah.
You never learn. Okay, brilliant. Sharon H, what's this? There are a couple of here we go. This is about is this in swimming pools? Oh my goodness, didn't realize it was so complicated. Maybe recirculate the water through a good pump filter and add a teaspoon of bleach in there. Peter Bleach, add bleach in there to neutralize any pathogens. I thought a bit of washing up liquid might be nice. Go have a pool party then, can't you? Did you talk about the fly trap question? Like, no, not yet. There are a couple of types of bacteria that are hard to kill, depending on what type of accident. You may want to research. There was just an article in the New York Times about it. Oh my goodness, it's a much more serious thing than I imagined. Lee, have you ever tried to smoke it out with Marlboro Lights? I think it could quite easily smoke it. So where's cheap? That's for the budget shy gardener. Try your Marlboro Lights there. And another solution, we found the in-ground sonic mole repellents. This is Spotify maybe on a little device, MP3 player. Repellents work to clear up a 16-meter square area. Battery or solar both work well. Why are you shaking your head, Lee?
I've seen them used, and I've never seen anybody get any decent long-term results with them.
Okay.
A lot of people like to use little, these little wind fans you used to get at the fairground.
Yes.
You blow into it and it spins round. You put them in your garden, the vibration is meant to do the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
The vibration down the pole, but they don't. It doesn't work. The mole, it might do it for a day or two, but then the mole gets used to it and comes back. It has to be something a bit more long-term and permanent.
Baby mole looks up and says, "Look, mummy mole, someone's put a windmill in the ground for us. Those beer bottles laid flat. Yeah, and Daddy's got drinking beer out of the beer bottle that was laid flat in the ground as well, which isn't working. Can we drop garlic in the mole hole? Similar result, maybe a regular habit. Is that good? You'll get some garlic plants if nothing else.
I think it smells very strongly of garlic, but I think there's an aniseed mix in there as well. Okay. I suspect if you Googled it, you could find the recipe for it. But I don't have the time or the patience. I'm just happy to buy the product off the shelf.
He's in there, fire in the hole. Okay. Hi, fellow garden. Yeah, I mean, you can't be hanging about, can you, if you're working on other people's gardens? So that does make a difference.
I'm not spending the evening making a mix of garlic and anchovies, whatever it is. I'm not.
Yeah, anchovies. Yeah, and it would really freak your clients out, wouldn't it, if you offer the overnight service that you'll sit in their garden and smack them with a spade. Although you can charge.
I think there are a couple of customers who pay me to sit in the garden and smack them with a spade because they are a menace.
The mole's not.
They are a menace.
Yeah. Hi, fellow gardeners from Montana. OLP, where have you been? Hope you're all doing well. We are. Hope you're doing well too. Lovely to have you here. Moaz sending you some greetings as well. It's been a while since I've seen you on the morning show. Absolutely. Thanks, Lee. Might not go for the nighttime attack. He's got a reputation to uphold in the neighborhood. Smoke bomb sounds good. Sounds like what he's doing. What do you think the best way to keep birds off your juicy strawberries? A quick one there.
Netting.
It's
the only thing to do. Yeah. Net over.
Back to you, Anna. Oh, while you're finding your next question, Anna, I will just show Deagle's fertilizer experiment. Some lovely pictures from Deagle's back garden, which we're quite familiar with, and some serious seaweed fertilizer business going on, a preparation that he makes. Look at that. Pints and pints of it. Are those 4 pinters? There's a lot there, isn't there? Wow. A nice job there, Mr. McKillen. Look at that. And making seaweed fertilizer in Belfast, of all places there. Great job, Deagle. Where are you? You're missing in action as well. I hope you're well, Deagle, and hope you see this at some point in the future.
It's amazing stuff. It's not too strong that it burns the roots. It's not too difficult to get hold of if you live in the right environment, and it's easy to make.
Go on.
When I was in Dumfries and Galloway, and I wanted to start the veg bed, I went down, I filled the boot of the truck up with rotten, minging seaweed and just covered the whole veg area with it. It smelled for a couple of days, but once it dries out, it's beautiful stuff.
Yeah, I bet it is. And you can tell what the weather's going to be like with it as well. Up from 6 a.m, making homemade seaweed fertilizer for plants. Dark 2 containers have been sitting for 3 months. The light-coloured 4 were fresh this morning. There you go. It's like a sort of urine sample as well.
For his tomatoes and peppers and the courgettes and everything that's a bit hungry, that would be absolutely perfect. Brilliant stuff. Right. Well done.
Brilliant.
Excellent.
Look at this. Phil's asking, what's Lee's opinion of no dig, no till gardening? No, let's not go there right now. It's a well documented thing between Fiona and Phil on the Facebook group itself there, Phil. When you and I have a beer, which won't be long now, we'll have a chat about. I'd love it if the 3 of us met up sometimes have a beer, actually. I think you 2 guys would get on very well. Isn't there a place, going back to the yard waste, isn't there a place to take yard waste for compost? I think, unlike the UK, the public bins are very welcoming and forgiving, but you can't take the proverbial, can you, with it?
There are in different councils have green recycle bays. They're well advertised, they're well signposted, but they're not always close to where I work. And if I've got a van full, I can't put it in a local bin. I can't do it. It'll fill the bin up.
You'd be stopping at everyone on the way home, wouldn't you? Okay, there you go.
It's much waste removal here is much better than it is in England. I mean, massively. I've done a few jobs where we've come to an agreement with a customer that the branches or the waste would be left outside, and they would contact the local council. And I think they move up to it's something crazy like 8 ton of waste free of charge if you leave it outside. It's depending on which council you live in, they come and move it for you. They give you a day, they give you a time. You put the waste out, then we remove it all free of charge. Brilliant.
Yeah. Brilliant. Anna.
Yeah, just trying to keep up the questions. Fiona has just sent one that I can read off the screen, actually, if I can just find it again.
I think
Planted blueberries and red currants along with tomatoes. Is there anything I can do to help encourage growth and production of fruit, preferably short term? Someone said red currants and blueberries don't do well in pots. Is that correct?
everything does better when it's given more space to grow. But saying that, they will grow well in pots. They'll get to a point where they become root bound, and then they have to be taken out and moved on. But if you start in fresh, you'll get 3 or 4 years out of them in a pot. The problem with pots is you've got to water that regular. They don't do well in plastic pots, so you've got to go for the terracotta and water them twice a day. It's high maintenance, keeping in pots. You can encourage growth if you just want green growth and not fruit-bearing growth, which you might want to leave to the second year. You can snip back on your existing branches, and that will encourage multiple branches to develop, and that will give you a better growth cycle for the year later. So after they've fruited this year, snip each individual branch, let them divide, give you extra growth, which will then give you extra productivity for the year after.
Superb. Thank you very much. Thanks, Fee, for joining us tonight. Any good website we should look at for recycling and using grey wastewater? I don't think we did that justice when we first looked at that, did we? So we might return to that.
No,
but is anything come to mind? Yeah. So I think we should return to it.
I've not really looked on websites, but there is a YouTube channel, and he's called
Grey Water Guy.
No. It's an Australian guy.
What's a grey
you know
water
what?
day?
I'll have to find it and share it. I'll share it on the page. No, it's an Australian guy. Because we're in similar climates, I like to follow because we have similar issues. And he does some great water saving ideas.
Yes.
I'll have to Google it. All
right, thanks, Lee. That Facebook user is not Fee, but you got a good answer anyway. Look, that other Facebook user, not me. What about fruit bushes in containers? Fee distancing herself from that question, which was answered expertly by Lee. Where is the page? Oh, the group, our Facebook group, Phil. I will get to you as well. We'd love to see you in there. And mushroom farming with time-lapse monitoring systems. Sit and watch the video over tea. You're a fun guy, Phil.
No. I've wasted many hours watching those on YouTube. It's fascinating.
You two will get along. You two will get along very nicely. Paul, very thoughtfully, he has found the Frugo WT trap couch, outdoor solar-powered fly trap with ultraviolet LED light. There you go. Hours of fun for Paul and anyone else who wants to buy one of those. Matty, that was for you, I think. And I thought you were talking about Venus flytraps. There are things that come up from time to time that we have covered periodically. They're the old favorites. I thought that's what you meant. But we have done flytraps for you there, and Paul's got the link. Have I missed anything, John or Anna, as we go into the last couple of minutes? I think we're all good.
Yes. Dean had a question, but that might be the one we just answered. I'll just check.
Oh, Dean's on the blueberries.
Oh, John, on the last episode, when you didn't join us because it was your birthday, happy birthday.
Yes.
We were talking about maybe starting a map of where people are, a world map of all our viewers, and we thought you might want to take that on. So while we're live on mine, I'm going to put it on you. I expect to see a map of where all the viewers come from.
Nicely done, Mr. McGrady.
I'll need some more information on that before I.
Nice.
I'll call you later. I'll call you later to speak to you about it.
Yeah, okay. All right. It was a great idea, and who knows, it might go well. We had a bit of, I've got putting a link in for crop rotation, another favourite of the show. So that's going in now. If you want to have a look at that. We haven't got time to get to it tonight, but Katie, that was from you again about crop rotation. Always a good subject to talk about, but we don't have time tonight. And also for Phil, also going into the into the chat now. The Good Morning Portugal, well, as it was, the Good Morning Portugal group is now the Happy Homesteaders Get Out and Grow project. With 1 minute to go, we're getting thanks from the OLP. Great to see you, OLP. Thanks, Anna, John, Lee, and Carl. Great fun show. It is, and it flies by, doesn't it? Congratulations on another great show, and well done, John. Parabéns. A map sounds good fun, absolutely. Carl, can you post the fly trap link on YouTube? He gets me busy, doesn't he? To sticking things on my to-do list like that. I'll see what I can do. And thanks. This is Dean Moss said, by the way. Work keeps me very busy doing so many things with an ever-expanding list of responsibilities. Earlier question was about a staff outdoor break area. Isn't that lovely that somebody at work is doing something like that, planting a bit of fruit out in the staff area? Lovely job. Muito obrigado from Sharon H. Phil saying thanks. Paul with love from Central Portugal. Fabulous. I'll leave that group link for you. Do join us there if you're not already a member, and we can stay in touch during the week. And you can ask Lee questions that way as well. Obrigado a todos from Luis. No, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, John. Thank you, Lee. We'll see you next week. Yes, we will be back next week, won't we? For more getting out and growing with the Happy Homesteaders crew. Where's that video? It's right here. We go. Sorry, go on, Lee. Go on. I cut you off there, Lee. No, he's gone for another beer. Okay, let's play the video.